What's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to show you how to create content that will get you clients. Hey guys, let's jump right into it. Content creation is so attractive today. It's probably exactly why you are watching this video of me talking about content creation on your device, on YouTube, right here, right now. However, we all know it's so much bigger than that. Creating quality and consistent content leads your ideal client directly to you. So, that is exactly why I'm going to go over 4 super powerful content strategies that you can implement today, like right now, that can begin driving ears and eyeballs straight to you and your services. At first with content, a lot of the times people think they're just putting things out there for no reason at all. No one's gonna look at it, no one's gonna see it, and it's all for naught. That's totally not the case. Content is king, and it is the road to all the dollars, people. All right, so content strategy number 1, video content. You're watching it right now. Pretty cool, huh? So if you have a smartphone, you're in. That's it. That's all you literally need. You literally need just a smartphone to start creating video content. Now, obviously, if you want some fancier video content, you're gonna wanna dress it up with some better audio, some lighting effects, and some things like that. But in all honesty, with video content, all you need is a camera with a mic and something to say. What's most important in content creation is not the how, but the what. Now this is going to be a theme that I'm going to give you across all 4 content strategies. What is your message? What is your value? And what is your call to action? I mean, whether you're giving away free tips, doing a tutorial on something, or just documenting and vlogging your lifestyle as it is, that is all video content. However, at the end of the day, in your video content, there needs to be a strategy. There has to be a pathway for your audience to go from one point to another point. Basically meaning there has to be a reason behind your content for your audience to go somewhere else or do something. This would be the call to action. For instance, at the end of one of your videos, maybe you say, hey, go check out my website at www whatever, or hey, check me out on Instagram, or blah, blah, blah. Some sort of call to action to get them somewhere else, to lead them down the pathway of potentially becoming a client of yours, or just following more content so that you can nurture them along the way of becoming an actual client. Keep in mind that your video content can go anywhere that video content can be uploaded. So we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it, wherever you can upload video, you can put your video content. However, you have to understand where your audience is and where your ideal audience is, and you want to upload your content there. Content strategy number 2, written content. So the easiest example of written content would be writing your own article on LinkedIn and publishing it on LinkedIn. I say this is one of the easiest ways to create content because it is. Literally, you can hop on LinkedIn, go to the article section, literally start up typing an article, publish the article, and within one click, you have thousands of viewers checking out your article, liking it, commenting on it, sharing it, doing whatever. And at the end of the day, your strategy, if you put one into the article, is going to drive people to where they need to go. A second example of written content would be writing blog posts for various publications. All right, so maybe you knew about this or maybe you didn't, but there's an entire world out there, online generally, where you can write up articles and submit them to publications, thousands of publications, and actually get paid for them to take your publication and publish it. The trick with this strategy is that there's easy sites to get published on, and then there's really hard sites to get published on. A couple of examples of some easy sites that you can get into by submitting your publications would be ehow.com, Cracked, College Humor, or even Elite Daily. Bear in mind, it might take a couple of times to actually get published in even those publications. Some of them have a little bit of a higher bar, such as Elite Daily. They don't just publish anybody. You may have to submit a couple of articles to them for them to really get a grip on what you're writing, and if your writing is quality, or if your writing is something that the readers will actually read. And that's how they judge you, basically. Those harder publications to get into would be things like Entrepreneur.com, Inc.com, Fast Company, which gets about 40 million monthly viewers, and Business Insider, which gets about 100 million viewers per month. Now, I'm definitely not saying that you will never get written up in any of those higher end publications. It just takes a little bit longer because when you start out, you're going to need a lot of articles written and published in those lower tier publications so that you have a larger portfolio and a larger history of writing articles and publishing them in online publications. Now, what I often recommend to people who are interested in the written content strategy is to sign up for a Medium.com account. It's about $5 a month, and it allows you to create as many articles as you want, publish them on Medium.com, which is a community in itself of a couple million people that will actually see your articles, be able to like them, dislike them, and you'll get tons of views that way. The cool thing about Medium.com is that you can take your articles wherever you want. So you obviously write them up on Medium, they stay on Medium, but you can take them, grab them, and publish them and throw the link wherever you want. So if you wrote up an article on Medium, you can take that and throw it up on LinkedIn, on Facebook, pretty much wherever you want to post it, it'll show up. For instance, even Jeff Bezos himself wrote up an article on Medium.com and published it there after his scandal, per se, and wanted it published there, and then it pretty much went everywhere after that, even though the man owns a newspaper. I guess that he just figured it would be a better content strategy for him to write the article on Medium and just let it go wherever it goes. Now, the main element here in this written content strategy is, of course, to remember it's not the fact that you are writing as a strategy, but it's what you're writing that's going to be your strategy. Again, so recall things like what's the value, what's the message, and what is the call to action to the reader. Maybe, for instance, on a LinkedIn article, you name drop a whole ton of new ideas and concepts that you think are important and trends that you think are upcoming, and you get an audience out of that because people are interested in what you're saying. Maybe in a Medium article, you talk about a story, you tell something real life that happened to you, and you explain really what that had as an impact on you, and maybe you get a following out of that, and you maybe further write articles about that exact same thing, and people become highly interested in that, and they start to follow you, and there's a call to action to go somewhere else, and so on and so forth. The process goes as follows. The bottom line here is if you want someone to go somewhere or do something after reading your content, there has to be a strategic element woven within the writing that you've written. The third content strategy, visual content. Now, two super easy concepts of visual content are Instagram and Pinterest. Now, I'm not going to dissect each of these platforms individually, although that would be interesting, but I'm going to get straight to the point. Both of them are very easy to create visual content on. Pictures, videos, quick little snippets of you doing something or another, whatever it might be. I can tell you though, based on my research and everything that's coming out lately, that Pinterest has a much better buying demographic than Instagram does. Now, this is something that's slowly being discovered in the internet community, and I think it's almost out of the bag completely, but I think if you're putting out content on Instagram and Pinterest or elsewhere, visual content that is, I think you should absolutely double down on Pinterest. Just as a side note, I do know of a girl that makes $100,000 a month at minimum teaching people how to utilize their Pinterest accounts, their boards, their pins, and everything with that audience to drive that audience to wherever they want to go. That's a testimony right there to tell you how valuable Pinterest is and how valuable the audience is on Pinterest. I think one thing to remember is that every single platform has its own audience. Instagram versus Pinterest, it's slowly coming out, and I think the whole world is kind of seeing it now. Instagram is more of the immature, kind of more of the lesser, more of the fading out, more of the playtime type of deal, while Pinterest is the more serious, more interested, more factual, more buyer-esque platform for people to be on. And I think this is slowly becoming really apparent to people, and it's obvious because I've been hearing and researching tons and tons that so many buying demographics are on Pinterest rather than Instagram these days. You must have a compelling Pinterest for that to be the case. You can't just have a Pinterest and make it automatically better than an Instagram or better than a Tumblr or better than whatever. But for visual content, you must have something really compelling, and I think Pinterest is a spot to do that. With visual content, you want that audience to either want more or to hopefully have more of exactly what they're seeing. And on Pinterest, if you're compelling enough, you can drive traffic and really make that happen. I think we've beaten the dead horse here, but if you create something super compelling with your visual content, people are going to gravitate towards it, they're going to want it, and they will follow you to your next step, wherever that is. An e-commerce website, maybe it's some sort of other landing page, sales page, maybe it's a service, maybe it's this product. It doesn't matter. Wherever they go next is where they go next. And if you can get them there, you've done your job. The fourth content strategy, audio content. All right, so let's just get it right out of the way. The first thing we think of when we think of audio content is podcasts. And this is for very good reason. Podcasts over the past 5-8 years have become incredibly popular. So podcast content is insanely easy to create. Have a good microphone, download a decent podcast app, for free by the way, and have a message, and you've got a podcast. Some people actually create dual content by recording the podcast on video with a guest and then dispersing it amongst the internet, whether on audio or with audio and video. Which is actually insanely genius because some people love to see faces, some people just want to hear audio. If you want to create audio content by yourself, it's super easy to do as long as you've got the above mentioned microphone and app and a good message to tell. You can sit and talk for an hour about whatever subject it is you want to talk about, hopefully very strategic, driving people towards some messaging, some element, and of course, a call to action. Just as an example, Joe Rogan's podcast has over 20 million listeners, and all he does is bring in high-profile guests and interview them about pretty much anything. Another reason that podcasts are incredibly popular is because you can do anything while you listen to a podcast. I mean, you can be at work, you could be watching the kids, you could be working out, you could even just be working on your business or doing anything that you want, simply having an earbud in one ear and listening to a podcast about whatever. Once again, with a podcast, just be sure you have a strategy in place. That strategy could be to have interested clients listening, it could just be name recognition, or it could be having the actual listener head off to a website after the episode is over. Again, what's your value, what's your message, and what's the call to action? All right, guys, so those are the 4 easiest content strategies to implement ever. Like literally, you can do those right now. You can create a podcast, start video content, start writing, create a Pinterest board, do visual content. Any of them are applicable to you right here, right now, today. I sure hope that you pick one and start. If this video is valuable to you, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well as the alert button so you know every single time I come out with a new video. Until then.